it's preparing the live stream, allowing me to remain in Zoom, but with that API connection, the application program interface that allows Zoom to go straight into YouTube. And let's see if it looks great. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I got that going. So let me share and we'll talk about what's today and what are the next couple of weeks we have. So let me share my screen. And let's see here. Everybody can see each other, right? Okay, so we got this. So Anastasia, you can see yourself right in the first row. And then Elizabeth in the second. And then Hayden, if you want to maybe move your camera a little bit down so your name tag isn't bothering with us. And then Jared, we can see him hopefully well. Okay, so what I need then is to go to our regular section. Let's see if I can get this going. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get it going here. Okay, so the first thing that you see, everybody see that? Jamie, you see that too, is, Jamie, did you register for the Wix webinar? Jamie Antonio?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
I
so
registered.
okay, and you got the confirmation. So I just want to make sure that it's everybody put in their notes or in the calendar that in addition to our classes, I want everybody, if possible, to attend at February 20th at 12 p.m. I believe you can, people are asking me how long it'll be. It'll be no more than an hour from 12 to 1, and they'll be talking about Wix. And my main concern is that I want everybody to get the code so we can use it for our project. And the beauty here is we can get free access. We can get our own domain name, which usually you have to pay for. We get it free when we get extra storage space as well. So this is, if you haven't registered, please go to this URL and make sure you register and let Anastasia. Any comments on this, Anastasia, for
I put the link in the chat as well for our Zoom
okay.
meeting. So if you haven't signed up, please do sign up. It's for grade. You have to do it.
Right. And then we can use it for our audit. Okay. So we got that. So the next thing, what do we need to do is we need to go to the what's due section. So again, what's due February 20th is that you need to attend this Wix webinar. You don't have to worry. It's not going to be heavily questioned on it. And I bet you, guess what, Ella Elizabeth, they won't call on you like I do, right? So it's one of those webinars that you just have to be there. So that's it. The other thing is, let me just go to, so that's on the 20th, this Friday. On what was due today was the screen recording assignments, parts 1 and 2. You needed to do individuals, plus you needed to do a group. And then you had the data. We started talking about data and knowledge management and the quizzes. This should have been done by Friday the 13th. So today we are on February 16th. And before I go to this, let me just make sure that if I go to the audit, this is the wrong one. This is K. I want J. So let me just do this. Let me go to make sure I have the J, the right section. I should get then my courses. And I should get then, I want my J audit. Make sure that I'm in the right section. Now I want to go to assignment groups. And under assignment groups, you see group 0. If I go to group 0, you'll see it says screen recording group assignments. Under your screen recording group assignments, you should have your name and your software that you used, and they should be, each one should be separated. So that should be there. So if I go to group 1 with Julia, Drew, and Jack, put that right here. So let's have this. Everybody can do this right now. Under your screen recording group assignment, just edit it, and on that front page here, put everybody's name and next to them which software they used. Even though when you go into the screen recording, you can see here the group and you can see the individual. And even though it's here, QuickTime, OBS, and screen, you could even copy it and paste it to the front one. Everybody with me? Did you see that, Anna? What I will make sure that everybody does. You can do that now. Somebody in your group can even go in and copy that to the front, and it's available. So group 2, the same thing. If I go into group 2, I should see it right here. So I could just then copy it here. And you know what I would like to is put your last names, even though it's like Lindsay and Julie and Holly and Andrea, put your last names as well. So when you have this, before it's graded, let's have everybody not be penalized for just little mistakes there. So in the group 3 as well, perfect. Just like this in group 3, Raphael used Komodo and quiet. Raphael, are you here today?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, how was Komodo?
It was very straightforward. It was just basically you just record and then it saves to the cloud and you can like edit the recording.
Okay, great. So everybody just do it like this way, like they did in group 3. I appreciate it. Okay, so I think everybody's gotten there where they did their individual screen recordings, right? Assignment that they picked that up. Okay. So I think everybody has that available to them. So you can see here that this was due for part 1 and part 2 with the data management. Okay, for next Monday, today is the 16th. We usually did Wednesday assignments. We're doing Monday assignments. So next Monday on the 23rd before class, we have a new audit assignment called AI Powered Research Assistant Assignment. And I'll go over that in a minute. And then we will have the readings of information security, cybersecurity. You know how important that will be with the adaptive assignment and the quizzes. And then I also have an article that will be important for you to read called Cybersecurity in Higher Education Risks and Best Practices. And if you look at this article, one of the things that you'll see here is what is the idea of cybersecurity in higher education, which we are, and what are the risks, and what are the best practices, and what are the frameworks. So we're always, as a university, facing growing cyber threats. And I think we're even growing it more because guess what? The advent of AI, these hackers are using AI to help them break into systems, just like AI is helping to protect us. And this will talk about the top risks, the proven protection strategy, and key frameworks. And if you go all the way, what is cybersecurity? You can look at it. What are the risks in higher education? What are what we call ransomware, which I'll talk about, phishing, social engineering, data breaches, attacks, different attacks, best practices. And what I would do in this article here would be, this is kind of like a commercial for this company. Don't worry about this, but I would look at these questions. Why is cybersecurity important? What are the biggest risks? Why is higher education a prime target? and how can universities protect student data? I'll be talking about this on Wednesday, and next week I'll also have someone come in that is a professional in security to talk to us about this and how this is changing our lives that we can see. And we can think about that security in cameras, and we can see about that. So that is what I wanted you to make sure you looked at. And under what's due is that's what we'll be doing. And then this talks about the University of Miami's security department. So we have something called AI-powered research assistant. And what this is an area of AI that helps us summarize material and helps us do research. And I think also helps us take large amounts of data, summarize it, possibly even doing setting up slideshows, setting up audio. And a lot of these research assistants, AI, think about the learner. And I really see in this day and age is we're always going to be learners. Even though you finish the university, you're always going to have to be learning. And why not have technology help us learn? Some people really learn well visually. Some people learn well when they hear it. Some other people learn well when they do like practice exams. So what I want to do is we're going to review one software, and I want to think about content in which we can give as a source, and then it can output help from that source, educational source. So if we think about it, Victoria, what do we say March 4th was? What's the day that we have to remember for our classes? What? Do you
That's
remember?
our exam.
That's our exam. So why not, Victoria, since we have an exam coming up, why not prepare for the exam using some of this software? You got my idea? Rather than looking at some other content, let's eat what I call, let's eat our own dog food and use it. So what we're going to be doing, let me share. Let me just share here. And what I want to use is I want to use a program called Notebook LM. And in this case, let me just do this.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
On the day of the exam, since this is a business technology class, will we be able to use AI?
You'll be able to use AI to prepare.
Okay, but on the test day, we're not going to actually be able to use AI.
Exactly. But you can prepare.
Okay. Just
Okay.
wanted to clear something.
Yeah,
some
and
stuff
it'll
up.
be on the computer. It will be in the computer lab, and it will be on the computer. I'll be talking about it. We'll do a review next week, and there'll be two types of questions. There'll be multiple choice like quizzes, and they'll be open-ended. And the open-ended questions, what I'll do, who asked me that? Who asked me
It's Enzo.
Enzo, good. So Enzo, what we'll do is instead of just making open-ended 2 or 3 questions out of the blue, I'll give you in advance, I'll give you 8 questions, and out of those, I'll choose them. You understand? Because if I asked you open-ended questions, it could be forever, right? It'd really be hard to study. So we'll be doing that. So there's something here that you talk about, if you look about that, Enzo, that says you see this Google Notebook LM? And it says this program really became quite popular with Google. Enzo, have you ever used it?
Never.
Great. Fantastic. You'll use it. And what we'll use is we'll use the material to study for the exam. How does that sound? Fantastic. So what this is understanding anything, your research thinking partner, grounded in information you trust and built with the latest Gemini models. So instead of OpenAI, ChatGPT, since it's Google, Gemini has their own large language models, especially for learning. That in the past year has gotten to be really good. And basically what you do is you upload sources. You can use PDFs, you can use websites, you can use YouTube videos, you can use audit files, you can, since it's Google, you can use Google Docs, Google Slides, and it will summarize them. And it will give you what we call, in AI terms, multimodal. And in this case, multimodal means what? Isabella Patel. Do you know what multimodal means? Do you have a clue? You see here where it says multimodal?
Probably just like multiple different models, I guess.
Or
Maybe.
different ways of learning. You can learn by text, right? By reading. You can learn by audio. You can learn by visual. So different ways you can converse. Have you ever used that? You can do conversations. You can use texting. You can look at slides. So that's multimodal. It'll give you insights. So if you look at this, Isabel, you can see you can create an instant study guide, a briefing, frequently asked questions, a timeline. You can see the sources. And in this, in inputs, the only thing right now it cannot input are Microsoft's DOCX and PowerPoint. So when you upload PowerPoints, you'll have to save them as PDFs, but it's easy to do. Once you're in PowerPoint, you can just say save as a PDF and you can insert it. And in this case, you just give it the sources. You can also create a podcast. You can create an audio. So when you're walking around Victoria, anywhere, you can listen to your audio and it can help you study for the exam. So it can be used to power study, organize your thinking, spark new ideas. And this has been a big hit. So this is what you need to use in the sources. Everybody with me? Enzo, you with me so far? Yes, no?
ma'am. Always.
Okay, great.
Excuse me.
Yes,
I know you said you're posting 8 open-ended questions and you're going to pull a couple of them on the exam. Do
right.
you have a compiled study guide for the multiple choice
Yeah,
section
we're going to do
that
it
you're gonna
next
post?
week. We'll do it next
Okay,
week.
thank you.
Okay. And guess what? You can use this. We're going to be using this to create. You'll be creating questions and we'll be taking some of the questions of what you create as well. Isn't that neat? So in the what's due, we see then we need to go to the audit assignment instructions. And in the audit assignments instructions, just like we did before, this is going to be due on Monday. It will be individual. And this assignment, what we're going to do, instead of just giving us any type of data, we're going to use the chapters for the book. And we're going to use the chapters that will be on the exam. So we're going to do chapter 1, TG1, TG2, chapter 5, and chapter 4. Your illustrious TA has taken chapter 1 and used it as a tutorial, as a sample. So what she has done, and if we can think about it, is the first thing that you need to do in your group is this assignment will guide you through this. You will record the process as a tutorial. You'll make a tutorial that, guess what, Victoria? You can teach other people how to use this software. You will upload PDFs of the textbook chapters, explore Notebook LM features by asking 2 to 3 questions. You'll generate some multiple choice questions, and we'll take, Victoria, some of the multiple choice questions that will be similar for what's in the exam, and you'll record your session in Zoom to capture both the screens and the audio. You've done this before. So the first thing, Victoria, you need to do is you have to decide what chapter you want to do. Just like we did with the screen recordings, everybody in your group has to choose another chapter. You got it, Victoria? So you basically now can even text your other members of your group and decide which chapters you want to use. So not everybody's going to use chapter 4, of course. How many people, Victoria, are in your group?
There's 4 people.
So pick a chapter and have everybody else pick another chapter. Don't pick chapter 1 because Anastasia has volunteered graciously to pick chapter 1. And this is just like YouTube. You have to use your own personal Google account. So do not use your school account. Use your Google account. You access your Notebook LM, and you're going to then set up a Zoom meeting, and you can interface. You can take your PPTXs that are available on Blackboard and convert it to a PDF. Make sure you share your computer audio so that both your discussion and the text notebook also will give you feedback, can be heard. And follow the guide that will be here. And then you'll upload your chapter. You'll upload it to the ad source. You'll go to MindGap. You'll request a chat where you'll ask it. It has chat just like regular notebook, like a Gemini or ChatGPT. So you'll ask for 5 multiple choice questions based on your chapter and an answer key. Isn't that great? You'll then copy the questions and enter it for submission. It will do an audio overview, and you'll select deep dive and the length. You can change it, and later on you can play around and see, do I want a short version, a longer version? I'm starting off. You'll have like a podcast. You can ask questions in the podcast. You can stop and join it. You'll click the edit. Some of it'll take a few minutes. You can ask it questions in your audio. You can be a participant. It's amazing. If you haven't used it, it's like mind-blowing. You'll then share your Notebook LM. Now, this is what's going to be important, is when you share it, make sure you share it for everyone. Because what's going to happen then, Enzo, if you don't share it for everyone, when what another person in your group wants to hear it, they won't be able to see it. And most important, Enzo, is you won't get graded. You'll get a 0 because your TA who's grading it won't be able to see it. So you want to make sure you're going to have a link to make sure that anyone can save it, and you'll submit it. And the final check is you might make sure that everybody in your group has a different chapter. This is the first assignment. And what you'll do then is you'll have the AI powered assistant, and underneath that, you'll put in what chapter you did. So I like to use Anastasia's assignment. So just like we did before, notice you should have A folder. This folder should be entitled AI-powered research assistant assignment individual. Somebody in your group already can make that folder. And you should put everybody's chapter here. So if you have 4 people, Victoria, everybody's chapter, just like you did in the screen recording, and what chapter they were assigned to. And if I click in, notice you will say then the chapter you're using, individual, and your name. Then you'll have your Zoom cloud recording link, which you're familiar with. You will be using your Zoom audio link. I don't want you to do the unshareable, but I had Anastasia put it in, because guess what? If you open the link in a new tab, Enzo, do you see what you get? What does it say, Enzo?
Says you need access.
Right. So it's useless. But guess what, Enzo? When you're testing it out in your own computer, you will have access. So you think it works fine. So what I want everybody to do is make sure, and it's easy almost to click something and you click it twice and you make a mistake. Have somebody in your group, have like a group buddy, make sure your link works for them. Because when you try it on your own system, since you have your own account, or switch to an account with access, your account has access because you created it. So I'm putting this in so you see that if you want to make sure you check it, because why you want to be able to share it with your group so everybody gets everybody else's information. Plus, you want to be able that your grader will be able to see it as well, and myself. So make sure that you get that done. But you'll see that here, if I do the video, here, the Notebook LM video, let's see if this works, right? Anastasia, we'll see. Stasia, we'll see. Let's see if it works. Anastasia, you see that doesn't work for me either.
Also didn't work. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay, so make sure it works. They're trying to get it done. We'll just see what are the issues. And then we'll be able to do that. And then you'll get the Zoom AI summary. You know how to do it. You'll get reflections. And these, how great is this? You get multiple choice questions. Do you see that, Enzo? And you get the answers. How great is that? And you can study. And then we can pick some of these to put in the exam as well. And can you see everybody? Will you be able to see everybody's work? Because we're in the audit area. Enzo, guess what? You can see everybody's work. So you can even put that in. So any questions? In the chat, did I hear anything that I need to go over? So the only thing that we need to know is what? So Ed, and the only thing I need to know is make sure that everybody in your group has a different chapter that you can do. And isn't it great that you can use that? As I say, I'd like to say we're eating our own dog food. Why not use, I want you to be familiar with this software to be able to evaluate this software where AI is coming, but also why not use it to study for our exam? I can't think of anything better than that. Audrey, what do you think? You use it and then they double the money, right? I got that. Now I can go over and I can study the exam. And next week, as people were saying, I'll give you the study guide and the questions of what you need to do. But a lot of this you can use in Notebook LM. You can put in even a lot of times all the questions and get different formats out of it. Questions. So how's that working out? Okay, everybody, Victoria, does that sound like a plan? And you can figure it out just now. Might as well figure it out now. Which chapter? You can even let your other members know. Pick a chapter and let them pick a chapter. What does it really matter? Same idea. And then you can start. And what I'd even do is try to get it. Yes, the last chapter for the exam is chapter 4. So we're going to do chapter 4. You notice I gave you an example, and I'm going to go over chapter 4 on Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'm going to go over, start reviewing chapter 4 as well. So basically, we just have the 5 chapters. Simple enough. Okay, so if I start and I share my screen, you see my screen? Enzo, do you see my screen where I'm in BTE-J audit?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I see my screen, when I went to those, you remember when I went to my, let me just close this. Right, when I went to my notebook LM here, if I say try notebook LM, this will be, you need to sign up with your Google account. I already have used my Google assignment, and notice what it does. It loads up all your notebooks, which is nice. My notebooks, featured notebooks, they even have other people, you know, have notebooks. And these are things that I've done before. And look here, this was done before, and this is from which chapter? This is from the database chapter. You remember we did the database? We started talking about, and so the relational database. And if I go to my regular section, you see here PTT and documents, Enzo.
Yeah,
And
I
so
see that.
you see
I
that?
see
If I
that.
click on that, under PowerPoints, this is where you can get PowerPoints from the chapters. And notice here it was already PDF. But all you have to do is open any of these, save it as a PDF, and then you can just input it as a source. So if I look at my notebook LM for the database, look at this. On my left panel is my source. And notice, search for the web, or you see here, add sources. Enzo, I'm adding sources. And what did I add? I add the Rayner 10th edition, chapter 5, the PDF. And notice here in the middle, I can do my chats. Just like you do chats in ChatGPT, you can do chats here. And notice these are the chats that I had about my data. It gives me already a summary about this chapter. This is educational. I didn't write this. It wrote it. Data knowledge management, the foundational elements, highlighting relational, big data, data warehousing, data lakes, knowledge management. And then notice, Enzo, it has an audio overview. It'll generate an AI podcast based on your sources. It will do a video, generate an explainer video. It will do a mind map. It will give reports, flashcards, quizzes, an infographic, a slide deck, and a data table. Some of them are in beta, some of them work, some take longer. That's why it's a good idea. We always have, it is basically, in this case, it is in the cloud. So I do not have control over the cloud of Google's cloud. So I would suggest that you do this early. Don't wait till the last minute, because guess what? There can be problems. That's why we give you a week to do this. But you can think about it is I have my framework. So if I wanted to do a mind map, notice it generates it based on one source. I just gave it one source of the PowerPoint PDF, and it generates it. And then if I click on it, notice it gives me then my data knowledge management, managing data. Look how great it is. There's a difficulty in managing data. Why? Because the data is getting exponential growth. It is growing so quickly. I can get it from multiple sources, not only internally, I can go to the web, I can go to social media. Data rot, it means that sometimes the data can be corrupted. They call that data rot. What is another problem? Security and regulations. Sometimes, for instance, if I'm in healthcare, it has HIPAA. If I'm in finance, it has banking regulations that I have to keep it secure. Data governance, notice that it discusses data governance in the larger context. So isn't that great? Look, it gives me an examples here on data governance when I want it. It's amazing. And then in this case, when I think about it as data sources, notice I can get more information about this. And it says basically data governance. What is data governance? I can read about what is data governance, but basically are the rules and regulations of where I'm going to put data in an organization. My master data management, if I'm not sure what master data management is, it tells me about discuss what sources say about data, master data management, and master data management. Basically what we're thinking about is that it tells me about my data, not my specific data, but it'll tell me like my name, my customer data. Notice it tells me about data rot. It tells me about the idea of later on. Let me just go back here. I can zoom in, zoom out about data warehousing. That what is the data warehousing, that it talks about historical data. Notice it even gives me additional questions. How can data management help identify and use dark data? And in this case, basically, I can go in with this knowledge management and have the managing data. Then I have the data approach. And my data approach, we talked about the data hierarchy. Remember, we talked about the data hierarchy, that a bit is a 0 and 1, a byte is a character, a field is like a row in a database, a record is a row, a file or table is like a spreadsheet, and a number of sheets together is a database. And if I'm not sure, I can go and it will give me then processing that data and the data hierarchy. This is just from when I was doing that studio. It's amazing right here. And then you see here, I can collapse it. I can make it larger. I can make these bigger as I want to. And then it will create an audio for me, video, a slide deck. It will talk to me. And then you can also, just like anything else, tell it an overview is you can tell it how long you want it to be. You want it to be able to explain it like a 12-year-old. You want to be able to say that, I'm going to be having a test in a IT class, and I'm a student that doesn't know a lot about technology. Help me study for the exam. And where do you get it? That if I look at it, you can see here the source guide. It is basically giving you the data management, giving you the outlines of it. And you can see that it basically took it from these PowerPoints. And if you go to File, right, and save right here as an Adobe PDF, you can save it just as an Adobe PDF. And when you go and do the PowerPoint, you can spend time on the PowerPoints here. Let me just go back. But you can also have it summarize the entire chapters, and you can give it other links. And later on, when I give you open-ended questions, you can do it this way. But let's get for next week, let's have everybody do the chapters so we can think about the chapters on managing the data. You remember we talked about that data rot and all of these. You see how it's coming through in these corporate and personal ones and the meta. And you remember we talked about it. So these two slides here, which says minimize the 3 problems and maximize, these 2 slides. So if I think about it, Anna, we talked about data as being a big problem for any enterprise, even for ourselves to keep organized. But just think about a university that has so many data points, and they're not even sure what they should collect, what is legal to collect, and how really what they want to do besides reporting is they want to get insights from their data. And we talked about, Anna, that data in any organization has been saved in files for each department. So what is your major again, Anna?
Economics.
Economics. The economics department has demographic data on you, right? The School of Business has, right? And let's say housing and a number of the registrar admissions. Is it duplicate, that data? Is there any part of that data that's duplicate?
Yeah, probably like name, major, and stuff like that.
All that stuff like that. C number, all of that. Address. What's the problem with that? Is we want to be able that it takes up space. It may be siloed in different places. You make a change, let's say an address. If I, let's say, move, Anna, I don't even know where my address is located in the university. It could be in 100 different places. I'm not going to go to all those 100 different places and say, hey, listen, I want to make a change. And even if I didn't have to know, somebody has to change it. And every time they change it, could it be a possibility of mistakes? Of course there could. Does it take up so much room? Of course it does. So if I look, Anna, at this slide, then I want to minimize these 3 problems. If I do a database management that I say, let's put the data in one place, and your name, your address, your major, your GPA, things that are duplicated, let's minimize the data redundancy. And then also, I don't want my data, some data to be isolated, that I'm looking for, somebody comes up to me and they want a scholarship for a female that's majoring in economics from the business school. And I may not have all that data. I don't want that data to be isolated where other people can't access all of the data if they need to make decisions. And also, I want to minimize data inconsistency. What does that mean? That one place it'll say you live here, and one place it says you live in Florida. Where are you from originally, Anna? Where do you?
Naples, Florida.
Naples. One says Naples, one says Miami. That data inconsistency. So I want it to be consistent. But what is the problem with putting Anna all my data in one pot?
If something happens, like where it's stored, you lose it all.
Yeah. So what I want to make sure is that I have data security. Also think about it. It's almost like taking all your jewels and putting it in your nightstand. And when the robber comes in, right, all he needs to do is, oh, where would jewelry be? Oh, it's probably in our nightstand. We'll go to the nightstand. And in that case, I need to basically, it's all in one place. It's all more vulnerable because if they attack that place, they have all the data. And data integrity, if it's only once, how do I know that I can rely on it? How do I know that that is accurate? And data independence, what does that mean? The data independence means that if we change software, Anna, my data will still survive and be independent of what software we use. So you think about those ideas, and you can think about that system of the registrar's office, let's say the finance, the financial aid, the athletics. They want this, they have this data. They'll put it all in the database management system, and then they can get out of it. They can get a number of different reports. So that's the key here in what we're looking at. And then, of course, we talk about the data hierarchy and others. So what I can do then, let me just minimize this, is if I go to our content here of what you can see in the Zoom recording link of what Anastasia did, right, is what she ended up doing is like what you need to do is she made then her Zoom meeting, and you can see here, when you go through it, you get the audio transcript, and you can see Anastasia here going through exactly how you need to do your program. And you can see here that she's showing as well the notebook LM, and she shows the mind map like what I was doing. She's showing all these is what you can do. And you'll do the same thing. You'll show a picture of yourself like you've done others. You'll be professional, and you'll give a tutorial. Plus you'll learn. It's a great review.
Dr. Rush, also,
Yeah.
I think I got a shareable link that I pasted onto the example assignment in group 0.
You want me to try it? Let me
You
try
can
it
try
anyway.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me try it because what you have and what I have. Okay.
Yeah, I left up the unshareable link for the audio as an example of how it
Yeah.
shouldn't look.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
then
let me go back to, right. This is the audit. I'm going to go to assignment groups. And then I'm going to go to group 0. And now I'm going to go to AI powered research assistant. And which one do you want? What is shareable?
try the video one.
Okay. This one, right?
Yep, yep.
We'll see. Never know. Perfect. You see that?
Hey there, got a big exam on information systems breathing down your neck? Feeling that crunch time pressure? Well, don't sweat it. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to blast through the absolute must-know concepts that will help you totally ace it. All right, let's do this. So whether you're staring down 60 multiple choice questions or a couple of those tricky short answer prompts,
Hooray. Amazing, isn't it? What do you think, Victoria? And you look like you sweated buckets doing all that. Can you imagine doing all that on your own? Creating those slides, creating those audio? It's unreal. So for studying, I can't think of anything better, you know? Thank you, Anastasia. We got it. And why did this work and the other one didn't?
I did what you told me to and tried a different Google account, and that worked perfectly. For some reason, my school account, it doesn't let me make it public.
No, you can't do a school account.
No, last semester it was able to.
Yeah, but it can't. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the
Okay.
issue.
Okay. That's why Anastasia, I like it I have no problem when we have problems. Because it reinforces, you understand? It reinforces how do you solve problems? Do you understand? That's what I'm trying to teach everybody. Because guess what? Next time we're going for new software and we've never tried before, because AI is going so quickly and expanding so quickly, we need to have a mindset of how do you solve problems with AI. And even though when you asked it, you didn't get it, but then we kind of think systematic, let's try another account. Right? And do not use, everybody understand, do not use your school Google account. Use your personal one. And even you can create a new one. I don't care. Right? And I don't care which one you use. And then we're going. That's why I also like you to do it ahead of time. It doesn't take that long. And then you can explore it and try different ways. That's the beauty. You can do like a ChatGPT, you can bring audio, you can tell it, hey, listen, what I love about it, when it gives me like a podcast, you can interrupt it. And you can join into the podcast. And you say, can you give me a business example? You can have a conversation with it. Perfect. We learned from it. And then if you can then let Lily know that she can put it on both, or you can put it on HI and K as well. So we have one shareable and one not. But everybody should have shareable. And have someone else try to share it. Because in your own account, you always can see it. But only somebody else can. Okay. Any question? So did that answer a little bit, Enzo, your questions?
Yeah, I did.
So it's really nice then in terms of using it. And then we can, what next week will be is we'll have another assignment looking at it as a group and thinking about what did we like about that and how could they improve it? Because guess what? Everybody's kind of vying to get the next level of it. And Microsoft has something similar, and it's in no comparison. They came up as the first Google, and they put it in as beta, and they didn't really think it would fly, and everybody just got so overwhelmed with it, especially how they could do audio, they could create podcasts. People were basically using the podcasts, publishing the podcasts. You can change the voices, all these types of things that you can see more and more. You can basically try different versions of it, talk about it, help converse with it where you get stuck. It really personalizes, I think, learning. What you understand, what you get stuck with, Enzo, is something that somebody else doesn't. The way you learn, Enzo, is different than somebody else does, right? Here you have all the opportunities. And when people are asking me, are they using AI? I'm letting you use AI to study. And not even that, I'm encouraging you. So you can explore different ways. Okay. So any other comments? We're set. So Anastasia, it worked out. Our mistakes worked out for the best as learning experiences, right? For yourself as well. Thinking about, that's what I want you to do as my TAs, learn how do you solve problems? Because we're always going to have problems. If anybody tells you with this stuff, you know how my philosophy, anybody tells you there's no problems with technology, either I know one or two things. Either they're lying to me or they don't know what they're talking about. Right? There's always problems, but it's the idea, how do I systematically try to figure out what the problem is, even to elevate it or to escalate it for somebody to help me? Because some things, again, Anastasia, are outside my control, right? But I can start, let me start with a new account. Let me start over, Sometimes I even need to reboot my machine, who knows? But I want to have a clean slate and go step by systematic. Okay, so Anastasia, do you want to take attendance?
Yeah, I can share my screen now.
Right, perfect. And I'll stay with anybody that needs any time with me, answer any questions. Otherwise, we'll see each other on Wednesday. I appreciate my moderators of the chat, those that I called on. I appreciate it, to get ways in which we can improve. And then we'll go over security on Wednesday. And then next week, we'll spend some time doing review. And also I'll have some security professionals come in and give us their take on how the university can stay safe. So we got it 67:39. You want to stop sharing? And if you have issues, stay with me. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, let me